This is the Barbados Today evening news for Monday, May 14. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Our top story, a second round of voting today has failed to reach consensus on a new Anglican bishop. The houses of clergy and laity met for over 6 hours at the Ivan Harewood complex earlier today, and they decided to defer any further voting on the matter until a later date, which has not been set. The diocesan administrator, Wayne Isaacs, made the announcement just after 4 o'clock this afternoon. The two front-runners in the race are Reverend John Rogers and the Dean of the Cathedral of St. Michael's and All Angels, Dr. Jeffrey Gibson. There is strong support in the laity for Rogers, but the clergy is backing Gibson. The 91-member House of Clergy is made up of all priests from the Anglican churches in Barbados, and the laity is made up of 2 representatives of synod from each of the Anglican churches. To be elected bishop, either candidate needs 51 votes from the clergy and 53 from the laity. The first round of voting was held last month. In other news, all 4 Commonwealth citizens who had taken legal action to be allowed to vote in the upcoming elections have been registered today. This followed a ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice yesterday that St. Lucian-born academic Eddie Ventos should be registered as an elector. The court also warned the Chief Electoral Officer, that failure to carry out the order by midday today could result in her being jailed for contempt of court or fined. Last week, the Court of Appeal ruled that Ventos was entitled to be registered to vote, but it stopped short of compelling the Chief Electoral Officer to do so. Instead, it ordered her to determine Professor Ventos's claims within 24 hours. Attorney at law Gregory Nichols told Barbados Today he welcomed the ruling.
All of the litigants in the matter have been registered and have received confirmation that they are on the voters list. It doesn't appear, though, that the other Commonwealth citizens who would have registered during the special registration period have been put on the list. So that I am not certain what will be the issue or how the issue will be resolved tomorrow, because once the list is published, they are not going to be able to vote. And the Electoral Department would therefore have to explain why people who have applied during the special registration period and who otherwise qualified were not put on the list. But all 4 of the litigants in the matter before the courts have been registered and received confirmation that they actually have been added to the list.
As voters prepare to go to the polls, members of the Barbados Economic Society met today with representatives of the various parties contesting the elections to discuss the way forward for the economy. The current state of affairs remains a major concern for the island's political leaders. In his presentation, the founder of Solutions Barbados, Grenville Phillips, said the country is on the brink of economic ruin, and he insisted that it is a result of mismanagement by both the Democratic Labour Party and its predecessor, the Barbados Labour Party. Phillips said Solutions Barbados has already put forward a non-austerity plan that is workable.
We costed our proposals. We run a surplus without laying off a single civil servant, without reducing any of their salaries, and while we eliminate VAT. So we don't need the VAT. Now, it seems incredible. How can we run a surplus and do away with the VAT? And that's why we knew us saying it is not enough. That's why we got others to look at it. We've asked for the Economic Society and the Chartered Institutes, ICAB, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, please form a non-partisan committee. Look at everyone's plan, including ours. We'll be the first to submit ours. Rigorously examine it, and then let the people of Barbados know this is workable or this is a bunch of malarkey.
But in response, the Barbados Labour Party's economic advisor, Dr. Clyde Maskell, dismissed Phillips' plan as voodoo economics.
I heard some voodoo economics earlier, that you can get rid of $1 billion in VAT and still have a surplus, and there's no austerity. Well, that I need to find which planet I can go to understand that economics. Because if you can remove $1,010,000,000 in VAT from this revenue base of Barbados, and still have a surplus on the fiscal side. Lord, I would wish to get to heaven very soon.
The Barbados Labour Party has said that if it forms the next government, it plans to restructure debt, remove the National Social Responsibility Levy and scrap road tax, replacing it with a levy at the pump. The BLP also plans to reduce value-added tax from 17.5% to 15%. And addressing a news conference earlier today, the former Prime Minister Owen Arthur cautioned political parties against making lofty promises to voters given the state of the economy.
The next government, whichever it is, will assume responsibility for our economy. In that time of the year, June, July, August, September, is the worst time of the year for earning foreign exchange and for government expenditures and revenues. And if the situation was that bad between January to March, the situation that will confront the next government is going to be dire immediately. So much so that in the first 6 months, the next government of Barbados should concern itself with just stabilizing and steadying the ship of state and ensuring that the Barbados economy that is now in this dire state does not go under. The government cannot invent, the government will not be able to invent an alternative reality to get us to live in. It will have to live with the reality that exists. And the situation is bad now. In the first 6 months, it's going to be very, very difficult.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
One night, one winner, only one team can deliver. Balance, comprehensive, unrivaled coverage. Barbados Today, Capital Media HD 99.3 and 6 Gear Studios. Don't miss election night on www.facebook.com/Barbados Today, on www.barbadostoday.bb, live on www.capitalmediahd.com and on www.facebook.com/Capital Media HD.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region, and we go to Antigua, where a senior police officer and his mother will reappear in court on July 11 after they were granted bail on charges related to attempts to forge Antigua and Barbuda passports. Assistant Superintendent Ray John and his mother, Yvonne Nicky, appeared before the Chief Magistrate Joanne Walsh. They were jointly charged with 5 counts of conspiracy to forge passports contrary to common law. John has been on suspension since April 13. He is also charged with 2 counts of larceny. On the international scene, Palestinian officials say Israeli troops have killed 55 people and wounded 2,700 in the deadliest day of violence in Gaza since the 2014 war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his military was acting in self-defense against Gaza's Islamist rulers Hamas, who he says want to destroy Israel. The Palestinian Authority's leader condemned a massacre, and the UN spoke of outrageous human rights violations. The violence came as the United States opened a controversial embassy in Jerusalem. And that's news this evening. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also sign up for BT's WhatsApp news alerts, and you can subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good evening.